welcome to the Harley Gallery on National Illustration Day. My name, as you heard, is Nicolette Jones, and I write about, among other things, children's books for the Sunday Times. And I'm delighted to be here with the wonderful Helen Oxenbury to celebrate the show that's all around you and Helen's glorious illustrating career. Born and raised in Ipswich, in Suffolk, she trained at the Ipswich School of Art and the Central School in London, where she met her husband, the fellow illustrator John Birmingham. She worked as a set designer for theatres and in television, and illustrated her first children's books after the birth of her 3 children. Helen was a pioneer of books for babies, and the success of her first put the fledgling publisher Walker Books on a firm footing. She created their logo, the bear carrying a candle. And Helen noticed that we live in a diverse society before a lot of illustrators did. She brought her most loved landscapes into a playground rhyme tweet by Michael Rosen, which sent us all off on a bear hunt. She won the prestigious Greenaway Medal twice, and on a US tour for Farmer Duck, she was given the keys of the city of Noblesville, Indiana. She brought us, above all, a great deal of fun. Helen, you were one of the first illustrators to notice that babies like looking at babies. And your first series was Tom and Pippo. How did that start? Tell us about the beginnings.
The Tom and Pippo series, well, it was a French magazine produced by our press, and they did a series of magazines for pensioners, for young mothers, and then they started the one for very young children. And they asked me, would I create 2 characters, and it would be in the magazine, 4 pages in the magazine for every month, which I did for quite a few years. And the 2 characters that I chose was a little boy called Tom and his pet monkey called, toy monkey by the way, called Pippo. And it went for several years until I got so bored, I couldn't do it anymore. And my daughter took over for a short time, and but then the magazine didn't do so well. And
but you were launched by then?
Yes, I was launched by then, yeah.
And did you have time to draw your own children? Was that the basis of it, while you're bringing up children? I'm quite impressed how much you obviously were sitting drawing babies while you had babies.
Yes, I didn't sit and draw them. I suppose it all went in there somehow, but I never actually sat and drew them.
Oh really, they're not from life? They're
No,
just from remembering the observation?
I don't do sort of anything from life, really.
That's astonishing, given how much you've captured the movements of babies, the expressions of babies, the faces of people.
You've only got to watch them and look at them and remember.
Yes.
And then try and get it onto paper.
That's amazing. These pictures around us, the illustrations to So Much, for instance, have that same quality of being something that looks caught in the moment. But you went and sat in Brixton and watched people. Yes. And remembered them, and then came home and made people who looked exactly like Trish Cook's family, she reports.
I'm glad you said that. Yes, that's right. Well, that's how I work.
That's
I mean, not everybody works like that.
An astonishing skill. Most of your books seem to reflect our domestic life, seem to observe them very closely. But one of the things I think is interesting is how much political import some of the books have, so that, for instance, Farmer Duck seems to be a story about revolution, and 3 Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig is a story about how we shouldn't build barriers and we should let strangers in. Mm-hmm. Still feels very timely. Even a book like Meal One about a single mother. Big Mama Makes the World, which is a sort of feminist, revisionist view of creation. The question is, did you feel strongly about a message, or is it just that these texts, which were written after all by other people, chimed with things that you thought? How strongly do you feel about the messages?
I think that's the second one, is it chimed with the things that I thought. But I don't know. It's I love stories that have layers, and so that the little children can enjoy it, and their parents can find something maybe in it. I think that's a great bonus if you find stories that do that.
I think
I'm always looking for something like that.
I think one of the things people don't recognise enough about picture books is that they have to have a double layer, because they are always read by adults to children who can't read themselves yet.
Exactly. I think if the parents find something in the books, because I can remember actually hiding books because I couldn't bear to read them again. And,
we've all done that.
Because it can be something, it can be boring for adults.
Yes.
So if there's something there that an adult can relate to, then it's lovely. It's a sort of bonus.
One of the great challenges that you took on in your life, of course, was re-illustrating Alice, which wasn't only the legacy of Tenniel that you had to contend with, but the legacy of just about everybody else who's also done this. Everybody from Arthur Rackham to Salvador Dali to Emma Chichester Clark, Anthony Brown. I mean, all the illustrators you can think of have had a go at it.
Yeah.
Was that... I mean, I know it came about because it was a particular favourite, this classic, but I wonder... did you think it was ever really going to happen? Because it's such a challenging thing to make something different from what everybody else has done.
It happened actually because I was the creative person from ABC Television, which was then, got in touch with me, and they were going to do a series, a chapter of Alice in each of the series, and they wanted an artist to do a new version of Alice, and they asked me, and I did that. I worked on it for quite a time, but then the whole department collapsed in the television, and it never happened. But I'd done so much work on it that I thought, well, I'll take it to the publisher and see what they think of making another Alice book. And fortunately, they said yes, they would like to go ahead and do it. But I nearly shelved it so many times, thinking, what on earth am I doing? Another Alice. They've been so beautifully done in the past.
Yes, but yours really was something fresh for a whole new generation. And you found, I know it was difficult finding the Alice who looked right, but was a real girl that you saw one day.
Yes, it was. It was I was at a wedding party which was taking place in a beautiful English garden with a little stream running at the bottom. And there was this girl poking about with a stick in the stream. She was lovely. And I thought, that's the one, that's my Alice. And I went ahead with her.
It's a wonderful transformation. I have to say that I was on the judging panel of the Kurt Maschler Prize, which was won by Alice in Wonderland, and it was the shortest judging meeting I've ever been to, because everybody walked in and they went, well, Helen Oxenbury's Alice in Wonderland, obviously. And we all agreed with each other, and they went, well, that's over then, sorted. And there was so much enthusiasm for that book. It was astonishing.
Well, thank you very much.
I'm probably not supposed to say, but it's a long time ago now, so I think I can get away with it. One of the things I think is very interesting is that you've never actually written your own stories. These are all collaborations. Am I right about that? Well, that's not quite true. Some of the earlier baby board books and the first experiences.
Yeah.
But some of these other picture books, you're very used to collaborating.
I did Pigtail.
Oh, you did that. Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. Sorry, I'm wrong about this.
And I did another which I'm not going to tell you what it is, because it's so awful.
Now we really want to know. Is it represented in
what
this?
What else did I do?
It's not here, presumably, in this exhibition.
No, that's probably about three or four.
Right.
Oh, I know. It's my birthday.
Oh, yes.
I did.
But the question is, how do you feel about working with other people? Is it harder when it's someone else's text? Is it easier? Are you telling a different story from what they are telling? What does it give you to have somebody else's words?
Well, first of all, I've got to like it. I've got to think, oh, this is lovely. And then there are other things to consider about the age of the child, what the experiences of young children are, and is the story too old or too young? I can't work with authors. I mean, no, it's not that I can't work with them. I've never had to.
You don't meet them till afterwards.
It's always through the publisher.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't actually like anything in a text, I don't go to the author, but I go to the publisher, and then they will then go to the author, and sometimes they change it. Sometimes they say no. Mm-hmm.
So you're dealing only with the text, never with the person, except in instances, presumably, like Michael Rosen's new collaboration with you. Obviously, over the years, you've had a lot to do with Michael because you've been promoting Bear Hunt. And now, the new book, look what I've got.
Yes.
You were then dealing with an illustrator, with an author that you already knew. Was that strange?
But I didn't have a lot to do with Michael. When I got the text from a publisher, I did all the finished artwork and took it to the publisher, and then it won that prize. And that was the first time I ever met Michael. Mm. And I haven't really, it hasn't been necessary for us to actually do anything else with each other. 35 years, until recently.
Yes, how extraordinary.
Yes, it is extraordinary. And I've had quite a lot, we do quite a lot of things together now.
Yes.
As far as talking to children and people. And, having interviews and things like that.
But you didn't. You did have a bit of a problem with the ending of this, I gather. There were issues about how to finish the book. But that wasn't a conversation you had with Michael, or not directly with Michael?
No, not with Michael, no.
So tell us about that.
Again, it's through the publisher. And yes, it was dreadful. I couldn't see how to finish Oh Dear.
Yes.
Is the new book that Michael did. And somebody explained to me, they said, well, he's a poet and he's an entertainer, and he doesn't really think about endings for children's books. I mean, it's not in his vocabulary.
Because poems can be open-ended.
So, yes, and I think it was necessary to have some sort of ending. And it took ages and ages, backwards and forwards, trying different things, until we finally decided on the ending that's there now.
Tell us about the ending that you chose and what you didn't have as an ending. What did you reject?
Well, Michael had an ending that nothing was resolved. And I think a child likes to feel that things are, okay, it's all right now. Even if it's been a little bit scary or a bit this, that, the other. they've got to have a nice, comforting ending. And this is what I tried to do with the publisher. And then they took it to Michael, and he said, yes, fine.
Did he? So was it different then from the first version?
Yes, his version didn't really have an ending. It just sort of said, oh dear, or something at the end, without having, which would be fine, Michael reading it to a group of people, but not on the page for little children to think, oh, that was nice.
Yes.
Good ending.
It's interesting because your work often demonstrates how much the illustrations can bring to the text, how much more there is in the pictures than just the language. So that, for instance, you can argue that the soul of Bear Hunt is very much in the pictures, in those landscapes, some of which were, the woods were Hampstead and the seashore was Suffolk. You had all these places that you loved that gave a kind of depth to that story, which had the fun of the chase and the sounds and so on.
Yes.
But it had a sense of being part of the story of a family's life because of your pictures.
Yes.
And that's true of so much of the work that you've done here. We could almost look at these picture books without the text and know what was happening in these stories. And that's, of course, exactly what children do.
Yes.
Because they're not reading it themselves.
Yes. And I think you don't slavishly illustrate the text.
Yes.
But you try and add to it. Is it Scary who does a little worm?
Lowly worm.
Lowly worm. And he does that on each page. And that sort of tells another story.
Yes.
And I think, one has got to obviously keep to the text, but you can add to it.
Yes. I just want to ask you a question about technique, because one of the things this exhibition shows us is that there's actually been quite an extraordinary variety over your career of everything from the gouache that's behind us now, which is a brighter, sort of deeper colour than the watercolour in, say, Bear Hunt. Some of the early work has a lot of fine lines and cross-hatching and so on. Do you do a lot of trial and error in different media before you decide what's the right medium? I know that in Three Little Pigs you did it in oils and then you did it again in watercolour.
Of course, yes. That was a disaster. Thank goodness I decided, sort of just gave up and started again. And thank goodness I did.
And is that because you're trying to match medium to subject?
When I read a text, I can, it sounds silly. I can instantly see how it would be, how I could do it. And I think it's when, like this book so much is about the characters and what characters, they're wonderful. And I thought it needs strong colour, but something like Bear Hunt, which is landscape, a soft English landscape, I think is watercolour. I think we're known for our watercolours, aren't we?
Yes. So usually you've got the medium straight off. There are just a few instances where there was a bit of
pretty nearly always. I can see instantly how I would do it.
Now I'm going to let the audience ask some questions. If they don't immediately have them, I have more. But anything anybody's burning to ask. While you're thinking about it. Oh yes, no, go on.
I was just thinking when you were talking about resolution at the end, I used to be an early years teacher, and the end illustration of Bear Hunt has so much conversation, always generates so much. The image of that bear disappearing, in the sort of soft.
Yes, I know.
And that's exactly what you're saying about how you add to text, because that just goes on and on for children.
Yes.
They want to know more, they want to talk, think through their
Yes.
talking, what's happened, what's going to happen, and that is incredible.
Yes.
It's a real
Some people think it's a bit too sad.
Yes,
Yeah.
is the bear lonely?
But also in Farmer Duck,
yes.
the last picture, and I mean, it doesn't matter if people don't pick it up, but what I wanted to do was Animal Farm, sort of at the end, and the duck gets on and starts ordering people around,
Yes.
and it doesn't matter if it isn't picked up, but I do that for myself.
I think it really
Yes, there is an implication that he's turning into the farmer,
Yeah.
and that the power's corrupting.
The corruption of power.
Exactly so. Any other questions? Yes, yeah.
Obviously, the pictures are so absorbing for children, but what do you personally hope that children take away from your illustrations?
Oh, I hope they have fun with it, and I hope that they will want to have other books
Yes.
and give them a love of reading. I mean, it's like a stepping stone, really, a picture book. It helps.
My daughter's just gone into primary school teaching, so she finds them sewing. Herself finds them so engaging. So,
Yes,
and I think that assists with reading them to children.
yes. And I love them to be able to look into pictures and find things and recognise things.
On her classroom wall, she has a photograph of when she met Michael Rosen, and so the kids think that she's their hero because she met Michael Rosen.
Michael Rosen.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
You better take one of you with Helen as well
Yeah.
to add. Yeah.
He's wonderful with children, Michael.
No,
He absolutely had got them in the palm of his hand when he talks to them.
yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, gentleman at the back.
It's a slightly ignorant question here, but I was looking at the illustrations that you did for Farmer Duck that were shown downstairs, and then I picked up the book and I looked at the book, and I wondered, do you do several versions of a particular scene and then choose one of them? Is that the way it works? Because there seem to be different versions of the same incident.
Yes. Oh,
And
yes.
Who makes that choice? You?
Me.
Publish it? You do.
Yes. But I mean, if you were to see the illustrations that go into the book, it would be about a third of the pile of what I try, and decide isn't good enough or hasn't got the right atmosphere or something, and it gets rejected.
Right. And do you find that process easy, or do you dither and...
I do dither a bit, yes.
Do you,
And often I do it again, but finally I go back to the first one. That often happens.
is it because there's more spontaneity in the
I think
earlier
that might be
ones,
it, yes.
And the more you rework
It gets a bit overworked and overthought.
Yes.
Mm.
That's interesting. It's one of the hardest things to keep.
Were you always into art when you were a kid yourself?
When I was a kid, yes, I was. I had terrible asthma as a child,
Oh, yeah.
and I didn't. I was kept away from school, and I was in bed a lot, and that's when I just painted and drew, and my parents gave me endless papers and paints, and so I drew a lot. Yes, because I mean there was no television in those days.
No.
You can
So
tell.
that's all you
that-
did.
You can tell that Helen was a sickly child. And look how vigorous and still working she is. She's 87, which is utterly unbelievable. Any other questions?
I didn't feel unbelievable.
Doesn't certainly looks it. Yes, gentlemen.
I'm interested, you have pictures that you decide isn't what we want and we'll have something else. Do you ever get asked to do a text that you just say, oh no, I can't do this, and say, you know,
More often than not.
oh.
Yes. Yes.
What would happen then? Would you ask them to write it again or just go and do something?
No. If it's not instant, that feeling of, oh yeah, I love this, it's great fun and it's, or something, then you can't make yourself feel these things.
Your editor at Walker reads the text to you over lunch, and then
He used to, yes. Yes, he read this story to me in a restaurant. Because I knew when he invited me out to lunch that it was something he wanted me to do, and he read this to me, but loudly, and half the restaurant was listening, and all the waiters were listening, and anyway, we all loved it, the waiters and me, and I said yes immediately. I said, yes, I want to do that.
So as long as David could get the waiters on board, you know. Any others?
You know, when you illustrate a story, do you do it from the start to the end, or do you just pick bits that you like, that give you a bit of a feeling, and do a bit of that and a bit of that and work, or do you just work, I'm going to do that one, and that one, and that one?
Yes, I do one that I feel is an easy one. To get into it, if you start with a difficult one, it rather get put off a bit. So yes, I start with one that's, for me, would be quite easy.
And then you jump about, do you, in the text and put it together like a jigsaw? Or do you then go back and start at the beginning?
Well, then I either pick and choose from the 32 pages, or I then have the confidence to go for the beginning and then work through.
And do you work them all up as a finished piece before you start the next one, or do you have a more sketched and then keep moving?
Sorry?
Do you work one of the images finished and then move on, or do you just have them all
At a fluid stage.
Sketches?
Yes.
There's some early drafts, aren't there?
Or sort of both. I do both. Things I'm not sure about, I keep fluid.
Yeah.
And other things that I'm definitely sure about, I'll do a finished one.
And sorry, I'm just going to let this lady.
Your husband, John, was a writer and children's book illustrator as well. Did you ever consider collaborating on anything?
They did.
Distinctly separate?
Tell me what.
The question was about collaborating with John.
Oh yes.
Did you ever? The answer being yes.
Did I ever collaborate with him?
There were two books, really, weren't there? Because there's going to be a baby, where
Yes.
John did the text and Helen did the illustrations.
Yes. Is that the only one?
Well, I was thinking of Air Miles, which was
Oh.
finishing something that
Oh,
John
yeah.
had started when he died.
Yeah.
And
He
it
said,
includes at least one
he-
picture, doesn't
he
it?
said, would you finish it? This was Air Miles. And of course I said, yes, of course I will, which I did. But the other one we did together was There's Going to Be a Baby, which I think was quite good.
Was
we didn't-
inspired by the
didn't,
style of the Beano.
We got on well. And, the fur didn't fly or anything. I mean, it was all right.
Was that when you've done that one though, did you want to do another one, or do you think that's all right for now? I'll go on.
Well, I might have wanted to, but I don't think he did. He was so good at his own text. He liked to do it, and I think his text went with his illustration. Somehow, it's like Dr. Seuss. You can't imagine text of Dr. Seuss without Dr. Seuss illustrations.
But in Air Miles, that was interesting because it was an incomplete book, and you had somebody else complete the text, and then there was one image of John's,
Yeah.
one finished image of John's.
The one image that he'd managed to do,
Yes.
was it actually in the book? Yes.
And was that particularly difficult to do?
Yes, it was jolly difficult to do.
Because you didn't know exactly what he wanted?
Yes, I think so. I kept thinking, what would he think of this?
Hard to second guess somebody.
No, it wasn't. I didn't enjoy it, really.
It's a very beautiful book. It's a very moving book because it's both about the dog and it's about John in the end, isn't it? It's about endings, which brings us to the point that this, I'm afraid, is all we have time for. But Helen will be signing in a quarter of an hour if anybody would like a signed copy and has bought a ticket for the signing. Thank you very much and for all your lovely questions and for paying attention. And thank you to Helen, who's always
Well,
riveting
thank
to
you all
hear.
very much
Thank you.
indeed.